Okay, everyone, we're going to do something a little different. We are going to do something fun with the emmeans or means. Niet, that's the Russian package, and emmelogit. The first thing we're going to do, as you know, you have to install those, and then you obviously have to get them out of the library. So we're going to get the data for fishing. Now, I did this in another video. I've been down on the Stargazer one because we're going to do just the Tukey test. And it's pretty cool. So here we have fishing. If you want to view it, just view it, right? So we're going to do a little something different than if you've seen the other one. I figured out, in my opinion, a better way. I want to attach it. And I guess you do have to attach it. I tried not attaching it. It wasn't working well. All right, so we're doing fishing. As you can see, we got the mode. That'll be the dependent variable. There is charter. There is boat. There's pair. It should be harbor. Boat, it's central. I said boat, but you get a pair, beach. You get the picture. So we're going to see if income is a predictor of the mode, right? You make more money, you're going to get a boat opposed to the harbor, right? Who wants to hang out in Boston Harbor? Very, very stinky place. So you basically, this is like in New Bedford, Massachusetts, where they did Moby Dick. So that's what we'll call it, Moby Dick. So we're basically doing Moby Dick, all right? Moby Dick. All right, so this is the multinom from the Niet package. That's Russia, right? That's Russian propaganda. All right, so it's multinom from the Niet package. So that's going to do a multinomial. Now, this is a little better than I did before the stargazing, but I was a little down. I don't think the stargazing is as precise as the emmeans package. So I'm kind of switching the package on this. And also they do a Tukey test, which I think is pretty cool. So then you don't have to go and relevel it. So you basically have the multinom and you have the mode. Same, situation as the LM, GLM, the dependent variable comes first. And then you have the independent variable, which is income. Definitely, I use a lot of packages with income. So you want to make it clear what data you're using. Fishing for Moby Dick. Here we go. And then we hit that sucker. And then you get the weights, the initial value, the final value. This isn't what we're going to focus on yet. So we're just doing a summary of Moby Dick. So look at this, a big party where the thing kills everyone. Oh, I should have called it Jaws. That's a little, but anyways, check it out. So you get the coefficients and you can basically interpret from this. Some people who do Bayesian analysis prefer that, but this is going to be pretty cool. This is going to be the Tukey test. So opposed to just doing any kind of the stargazing I've done before, but the problem with that only gives you one p-value, and I'm a little incredulous about it. So because I thought the boat and the pair or something wasn't significant, but I thought it would be by income, and then it was with the emmeans, and I believe the emmeans might be a better package to do it, but you got to call it something else. So I just said Jaws. We'll call it Jaws, right? Oops. Now we're using the emmeans package. So this is the emmeans is emmeans. That's the function. So this is a little different. So you basically are doing you put fishing. No. What do we call it? Moby Dick. My bad. So we did Moby Dick. That's what we're doing. So we're basically putting emmeans in emmeans the function. What we just did for multinomial. We're not saying, data fishing, we're using Moby Dick. So that goes at the beginning. And then as you know, everything's separated by a comma. But this is a little more interesting with this because what we're going to put in there is this. Hold on, please. What we want to do is essentially put in the little tia tilde and then how to think about that, because you're always thinking about these things, because this one's a little different opposed to doing it like dependent variable regress by. It's actually the dependent variable first, but after the tia tilde, so mode, right? And then you're going to hit someone asked me in class, but where is this one? This is right above enter. You don't use it that much. That's a line. So it's just a line that goes down. Who uses that? So right above enter, at least on my keyboard, you see it, and it's just a line going down, separating that from the independent variable. So this is the dependent variable, and this is the independent variable. Yeah, I had to think about this one, and it is a little different. So it gets to be confusing because automatically you want to put bode tia tilde here after the boded income, but it's actually separating it. So it is a different type of model here. The multinomial model is pretty interesting. It's a little more complex because you're dealing with all these different attributes of the mode variable, which are all multinomial. Remember, they're not ordinal. So, you got to do that. And then you put type response. So what we basically want is type. As you'll see, it comes up equals, and then just response. Now, what happens if you don't do that? I don't know, but that's the way I was taught. Well, I found, and that's very important. So we get JAWS. Now, there's a graphics interesting function here that will do the Tukey test. It's pairs. So it's pretty cool. And then you put in JAWS and see what we get. So we don't have to do the summary or anything like that. And that gives us the p-value adjustment for the Tukey method comparing a family of 4 estimates. So you get beach versus pair, beach versus boat, beach versus charter, pair versus boat, pair versus charter, boat versus charter. I like this is much better than doing it, say, Stargazer, because then you'd have to relevel it. This is just giving me the Tukey test, which is a good post hoc test anyways, and it'll give you the p-value. So beach versus pair, see, that is obviously not significant, right? It's only going down by -2. And, if you're on the beach or on the pier, probably not much of a difference as far as income. But obviously, boat versus beach, if you have a higher income, you are probably going to take the boat opposed to the beach. There is a bigger one with beach and charter, obviously. But if you look at boat and charter is not significant. These are pretty predictable, I think, without even running it. But you want to run it if you were like a city planner or something like that, or like you were doing New Bedford and you were planning, say, for example, how many boats you would need versus, how many people are going to be on the pier, etc., by income. So you basically, these are pretty predictable though. Beach versus pier, if someone has more money, they're going to go on the pier, right? If someone's got more money, they're going to go on a boat. But a beach and the charter, same thing. But then when you look at like a boat in the charter, not much different because a charter boat is probably pretty expensive than a regular boat. Almost as expensive. And then pier and beach, what's really the difference of standing on a pier versus a beach? Not that much, so you don't see a big difference between income. But you do on the others. So this is pretty predictable. But what's good about this emmeans is that it just gives you the Tukey test. So even though it looks a little difficult, like I had to think, is it, the tia tilde, then dependent variable with a line on it, you got to find the line on your keyboard. Income, that's the independent variable, then type response. JAWS is what I call this, and then I put pairs JAWS, and it came out pretty good with a Tukey test. So that was a post hoc test when we get the multinomial using the net package. The fishing data that you're seeing up here, the mode versus the income. Now, I don't know really what these other things are, but it's pretty interesting how you can just get data sets out of different packages. So packages aren't just, say, for example, the means package helped us put it in the pairs to get the Tukey test, but packages are also valuable because they have a broad spectrum of different data sets. And I think that that's pretty cool because then we can access all these data sets. So that was it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. This is multinomial regression, meaning unlike the Titanic survival data set where there's only survived 0 and 1, I've had to recode it to from yes and no to no 0, yes to 1, and then we ran the GLM function. And I also found another package for that in case you're interested. It's Logitor function, which was pretty cool. It does similar to the GLM. It's from the MFX package, and that was pretty cool. So any questions or comments, I love them. Leave them below. And thanks, everyone, for listening.